Hey everybody, my name's Trish from Downing's Candle Company and welcome back to my channel. I am doing a series called 52 Weeks of Candles and this is week 11. This week I made concrete candles, so I show you the process of making the vessel and then going through and making the candle. So if you want to watch that, then keep watching.
So the tools that you'll need to make these cement containers are a mixing bowl, some mixing utensils, a mold. This is the 3-inch tulip mold from Modern Craft Lab, along with the cover. Comes with this plastic outer shell to hold it, distilled water, and since I am making my vessels white, I'm going to be using titanium dioxide to whiten up the mix. So I use 1 cup of the cement doll that I get from Home Depot. I find that 1 cup is perfect for the mold and the cover, so I can make them both at the same time, get the same color out of them. I use 3 tablespoons of titanium dioxide in my testing with it. I found that the 3 tablespoons gets it to be the white color that I'm looking for. So I'm just pour the water in and I just mix it. I just pour it in a little at a time, and it's hard to tell you how much, but I poured it in enough to make it like a pancake batter consistency. And now I'm just going to pour it in the molds. And you can see that I mixed it mostly with that whisk, which I later decided, not in this video, but I later, making more vessels, decided to use the spatula because it didn't give you as many bubbles, air bubbles that came up. I noticed as my vessels dried, there was a lot of air bubbles in the top cover. Um, I on the vessel, you kind of have to tap it around and get the air bubbles to come to the top, which I did, and the vessels came out good. It's just the covers I couldn't tap in as much as I had wanted to, but it takes a little while of tapping to do this. I would say 3 or 4 minutes. I'm hitting them down on the table and then just tapping the sides until I don't see any air bubbles coming up from here. Then I'm just going to let them sit, and they can sit for about 3 hours, and then they'll be ready to unmold and it'll be all hardened up for us. It's been about 24 hours now and I am ready to unmold my vessel and the cover. So I'm starting with the cover, and you just need to peel back the silicone from the edges of the cement, and then you can pull it out. The cover is pretty easy to come out, as you could see. The vessel is a little bit harder, so again with this one, I'm just peeling it back from the cement, and then you have to be able to fold over this top, all of it at the same time, so you can just roll it down. So sometimes it's a little bit hard to get it roll down the first layer so that you can roll it the rest of the way. But I did it and I looked it over, no bubbles on this, so it came out pretty good. And now you just have to let these sit for 3 days so that they can fully dry before you put any sealer on them. So we are just going to let these set for about 3 days. Then we'll be back to do the sealer. So it's been about 3 days, probably 4. And now I'm going to do the sealer. So I'm using Earth Safe sealer that I got online, and I'll put the link below. And I'm just going to go around and put a layer. You put 2 layers in. So I'll put a layer in. I'll wait about 5 minutes and I'll go in and put the second layer in. And it's important to seal these if you're going to put candles in them, because if you don't, then the oil of the wax is going to seep through, and you really don't want that to happen. It'll ruin the look of the outside. You'll see water lines, what will look like water lines. So once you have this all sealed, you just have to let it sit for 3 days so that the sealer can fully dry and penetrate the inside. I just do the inside because I like the matte look of the outside. So I'll be back in 3 days for the candle. Okay, so it's been about a week and I am now ready to pour this candle. You can see that the sealant's all dried. Looks a little glossy inside. I left the outside unsealed because I like the matte finish. So I'm using the CDN Wicks series for these concrete vessel jars. And I'm just putting this in. It's pretty easy to wick these ones because there's like a little notch in the center bottom so you can see right where the wick goes. And these are a little over 3-inch diameter vessels, so one wick works well with these. And the wax combination I'm using for this is I use a Coconut 83 and then just a tiny bit of the Harmony blend. And I feel like that gives me a good hot and a cold throw. So I heat that up to about 190, 195, and then I pour my fragrance oil in it. I'm using garden lilac, which smells just like a lilac tree. If you had lilac trees around you when you were growing up, this is exactly like that. And I use about 11% fragrance load for this candle. And as I've done in the past, I mix it for 2 minutes to make sure the fragrance oil is fully incorporated into the wax before I pour it. And then I'm just going to give it a pour into this vessel. So I just pour it nice and slow. I try not to get any on the sides, which you have to pour pretty slow. You don't want any splashing because it will discolor the side a little bit. If you get some wax up there, it discolors it. So you want to make sure you just pour this nice and slow and don't have any splashing. It's not as easy to clean off and it does leave a mark. So I'm just putting this wick bar in now, and that it will just keep my wick in place. I think they're called bow ties. That just keeps my wick in place. Here's some embeds that I'm going to put on top once this is done, but for now we will let this harden up. So now this is hardened up and I'm going to put some embeds on it. I made these probably about 3 or so weeks ago, and I made them also in the Garden Lilac scent, made pink, purple, and then I made the white ones. I used mica powder with these. So mica powder is okay to use with candles so long as you're not using a lot of it. So this is pretty much just for decoration. So on the white ones, I put a little bit of purple mica powder, a little bit of pink mica powder to kind of bring the two colors together. But lilacs, I thought purple, pink, and white. And the way to get these to stick is you have to melt down the top a little bit. And I also melted down the top because when the candle is hardening up in a cement jar, the cement is cold, so it kind of pulls away from the side. So, and it's perfectly fine to leave it like that because it's not going to fall out. But I just like to melt my wax and just have it go around the edge and just look clean. So then I'm just going to lay these 3 on there. And I kind of can see it's the same difficulty to use those little tongs or use your fingers. So either way. And I'm just going to put 3, then I'm going to trim the wick, and I'm going to let this harden up a little bit so that I can move it, 'cause the wax in the middle is still a little bit liquidy, so I got to let it harden up. And you can see what this is going to look like. This is a garden lilac candle that I made, and I hope you like watching that video. I hope it was entertaining, and I hope it was informative, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.
Okay, so the candles are all set up now, and I wanted to show you the finished product. Here is the jar. I put my label on it. I stamped the cover. I also have a sticker on the inside cover. I put a warning label on the bottom, plus I put 4 of these rubber bumpers so it protects whatever surface it's on. And then this is what it looks like. I think that came out pretty nice. I like it. It's a nice lilac scent. So I hope you like watching this video, watching how I made the vessel and then poured the candle into it. And I hope to see you next week for week 12. See you later.